You know what's going to happen? I know what's going to happen. So why am I making this video? We all know the result of this fight, and I feel as if, what it do, Bedtime Crew? Hey, man, listen, I feel as if some people want to try to gaslight other people like, yeah, man, JDM's going to get it done. And it's like, it's almost embarrassing. I don't mind it, though. I love the fact that people are still underestimating Belal in the big 2025, but listen, when something's this obvious, I feel like people want to be different and they want to lean somewhere else and be like, oh, I think he's going to win just because it'd be so cool. And if they get the prediction right, they're going to go and celebrate like, oh, I knew it, man. I told you. They know what's going to happen deep down. After this fight happens, they're going to switch the narrative. They're going to say, oh, yeah, I knew it was going to happen, but Bilal's so boring. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, JDM just looked horrible. We all know what's going to happen, and I'm not going to just say what's going to happen. I'm going to do a stylistic breakdown. I'm going to break down this fight to a T, bro. Stylistically, I have the best stylistic breakdowns on this app, and you guys know this for good reason. When I do these stylistic breakdowns, you guys know I cook on them usually. So I'm explaining to you guys why Belal Muhammad's going to mow through Jack Della Maddalena, because he is. And like I said, we all know it, but some people just want to act like they don't. So let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of this. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. First off, I want to start off acknowledging JDM striking pros and cons, because this is really important here, because I see a lot of people saying JDM's going to just catch Belal and knock him out. Okay, let's talk about it. Striking pros. He's great moving forward, chat. Like a lot of JDM's combos, because he has great combos, he mixes the target well, does all that, but it's all with forward momentum. So as long as JDM is coming forward to you and you're backing up and giving him respect, he will unload on you very comfortably. Now, he did it against Kevin Holland, who was trying to shoulder roll max, ends up getting fucking combo maxed up. You know, did it against Gilbert Burns when he had some moments. It was him coming forward. When Gilbert Burns was blitzing him, he was just back away doing nothing. But for the most part, if JDM is dictating the pace against you, he'll have a good time. Now, against most people, that would be a good thing. Unfortunately, he's going against Belal. And I don't know, some people don't know Belal. They haven't watched Belal's fight, so I'm going to get to Belal when I talk about him. But Belal's not really known for backing up and kind of giving people that. But we'll address that when it's time to address that. But yeah, JDM, if he can make Belal move backwards, he's going to have a feel that JDM might just do it. If he just has Belal running away the whole time and he's the one pressuring Belal, walking Belal down, and just having the superior gas tank and just doing all that, sure, he should beat Belal. That's what I'm thinking. But if he's not coming forward, it's a different story. But I will say, when he's slipping, he's ripping, he's doing combos, he looks great. Now, what's his cons? He can't counter off the back foot, and he has a hard time defending body and low kicks. I don't really know what specifically was his reasoning for having a hard time defending body kicks, but against Gilbert Burns and against a lot of other people, the body kick always sneaks through like right under his elbows. Yeah, he keeps his arms fairly high, I get it. But, you know, if he's quick enough, you could usually get their hand down there, but then that leads to your forearm getting hit, which could lead to broken forearms, which could lead to all those stuff. And we've seen him have a broken forearm situation before in the Gilbert Burns fights, and that's kind of what people blame on that Burns performance. Oh, dude, it was only because he had a hurt forearm. That's the only reason Gilbert Burns had a field day with him. No, not really. Gilbert Burns, it just happens to be decent grappling, so he succeeded in the grappling. And we're going to talk about his grappling when the time's appropriate, but JDM just can't counter off the back foot. And this is really important because a lot of people saying he's going to knock out Belal. He's going to knock. Guys, his likelihood of knocking out Belal, if he was more of like a Conor McGregor kind of puncher, he could slip out and get out and then land like he did to Jose Aldo Conor, or like just Israel Adesanya in the Robert Whittaker fight. If JDM was that, I'd be more worried for Belal. If he was good at countering off the back foot, I'd be more worried for Belal. The fact that he can't counter off the back foot, that puncher's chance that people really want to push is not really a thing. And I'm going to, like I said, we're going to get into that a little bit later, but I just want people to understand that, like, if you're deluded enough to, like, believe what these other creators are saying, oh, yeah, they said he's going to knock him out with one punch and off a counter or something. You got to just understand JDM on the back foot can't counter well. He does good job slipping when he's coming forward. Like, if he's jabbing you, you throw, he might slip you and then come forward again. He can counter off the front foot. Off the back foot, he does really nothing but shell up like this. He kind of just shells up and, like, kind of jumps back. He doesn't throw. I watched a lot of footage on him before this video, and I'm telling you right now, on the back foot, he's not heavy as a thrower. Now, that's why I'm even more so confident that when he goes against Belal, it's going to be a long day, because Belal loves body kicks. I don't know if you guys know this, Belal loves body kicks. You know, and he has a hard time defending body kicks, and he can't count off the back foot. Wonder how this fight's going to go. Anyways, now we're going to talk about Belal striking pros and cons, starting for this pros. Great pressure striker, and he has impressive volume. So he's coming forward. He's not the most pretty looking, he's not JDM looks a lot more pretty. If this was an attractive striking contest, JDM beats Belal. Unfortunately, that's not how UFC and MMA work. You don't got to look so pretty with your strikes, but Belal does a good job pressuring them, and he has good volume with it. He's constantly jabbing, and his hand speed is really underrated. I didn't even put this for there, but hand speed of Belal mixed up with the volume and the pressure is really hard for people to deal with, and they think Belal's slower for some reason than Belal's so slow. Remember Leon? You're too slow, Belal. You're too slow. What? You're too slow. You kept saying he was too slow, but if you actually look at the hand speed advantage, Belal had that over Leon, and he was having so much moments he would pop Leon's head back because Leon wasn't prepared for the speed. Now, the Canelo boxing, man, people think it's a myth, man, but based off Canelo's last performance, Belal has more than Canelo boxing. I think Belal comes forward, he slips really awkwardly, he does a good job not getting hit. He might look kind of sporadic. I don't want to compare him to Sean Strickland, chat, but you guys know how Sean Strickland kind of sporadically defends like an idiot. Belal does something pretty similar. He kind of does something pretty similar. It's just a little bit different. They have their little bit different tweaks. He kind of explodes weirdly, but he does a good job barely getting brushed or barely getting touched, and then he comes back with 4 or 5 punch combos that are pretty fast, and they're very annoying, kind of frustrating to deal with because he's constantly in your face. I also said the takedown threat opens up the striking. Now, one thing Belal does really well is he'll delude you into you're having a striking match, and that's when he's going to take down JDM. That's the truth. I know people are going to be like, but Kenny, he said he's never going to wrestle JDM. That's and that's people's last hope. They did it with the Ankalaev Pereira situation. Kenny, you're saying all this, but Ankalaev's only going to strike with Pereira. And I'm going to say this again about Belal, JDM. There's no planet on earth where JDM outstrikes Belal this fight. There's not a chance. I'm saying not even a fighting chance that JDM can outstrike Belal. I'm telling you this fight, at the end of the fight, I know Belal's going to outstrike him. I could put my house on it. I'm not worried about JDM outstriking Belal. JDM, like I said, he's great coming forward. He would outstrike Belal if Belal was running away the whole time, But Belal's going to be bringing the pressure with the pace and the volume, and he's going to break JDM in the long run. I just want to preface that his defense is really good. He's good at slipping and ripping, and his takedown threat is going to make his striking look that much better than Jack Della Maddalena. So when you see Jack Della Maddalena kind of getting the beats on him like Dr. Dre, don't be like, what the hell? What's going on? I thought you're going to be like, oh, Jack Della Maddalena is overrated. I don't know how he's on a 17-fight win streak. Belal is the king of destroying win streaks, chat. You guys should know this. So just wait till the striking happens. The striking is gonna be my favorite part of the fight because I think it's gonna confuse the casuals. It's gonna be like, what? But the guy who's supposed to be boxer, he's not. You guys don't know crap. You don't really know nothing, do you? If you actually think JDM has a chance to outstrike him or knock him out, you've lost your mind. Anyways, volume, striking, pressure, and takedown threat was gonna make the striking that much easier for Belal. But he also has cons, and I'm gonna address the cons. He's susceptible to counters when coming forward. That him and Sean Brady are kind of similar in that aspect where they are pressuring really good and very effectively, but they take a punch to give a punch sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be a little bit more worried about this specifically. Like I said, if Belal was going against a style of fighter that's like I said, the Conor McGregor-esque or someone who can move backwards, like a Sean O'Malley-esque striker who could lean back and counterpunch, that's just not JDM. He's not someone who leans back and throws counters. He's someone who walks forward and slips, and his best work is coming forward. And you're not going to be pushing Belal back. I guarantee you this pressure fight's going to be won by Belal. Let's see who has most pressure. Gilbert Burns was having moments where he's pressuring this guy, Gilbert Burns is just not the same fighter as Belal. Remember the name Muhammad. He's just not. Two different fighters. Belal's pressure is disgustingly, absurdly annoying and just perfect. It's very hard to deal with because Belal's not going to fatigue. I say, Gilbert Burns fatigued against JDM. He deserved to lose that. He was tired laying on JDM. JDM forced a scramble because he was tired, and he caught him with a knee coming in because Gilbert Burns just fell into a takedown because he was so tired he couldn't stand with him. Belal's not going to tire. So if you guys are banking on Belal to be mauling him, then all of a sudden 5th round, JDM just knees him when he's a take. Yeah, you're just you're grasping at straws, which I understand JDM fans have to do because you can't really come to an actual reasoning of why JDM's going to win. So if you actually sit there and ask a lot of these JDM people who are picking him, why do you think he's going to win? They're going to say, he's going to knock him out. He's going to just knock him out. Listen, and it's the best you can do, so I don't blame you. I don't expect you to say anything of value or substance because I know you don't really believe JDM can win. You're kind of just banking on him to catch it. Dude, Alex Pereira's going to beat in because he's going to hit him. Josh Emmons going to beat Lerone Murphy because he's going to hit him. Lopez is going to beat Volk because he's going to hit him. All you guys who pick people based off puncher's chance, pick JDM. I want to see how upset you get after the fight. Pick him. I pray you pick him. I hope these odds somehow become pick him. I hope these odds shift a little bit so I can make more money on Belal. I hope you think JDM has this absurd one-punch power chance words, like he doesn't even have that one punch power. I don't even know why people think that. He doesn't have one punch power. He has good volume and accumulation of punches coming forward. Even though Belal's susceptible to counters when he's coming forward, I don't think JDM has that counters off the back foot that should worry Belal significantly. So that's a striking from both ends. So after comparing this, you know that Belal's already the better striker in an MMA fight. Cool. Moving on to the grappling. You thought we're done, brother? You thought we're just going to talk striking, you know? I think JDM sucks. He's like Usman. No knees, but he's from the land down under. No one knows that place, you know? Let's talk about the grappling, brother, because we're going to grapple this fight. We're going to wrestle. Let's start off with JDM's. Talk about his pros. He gets back to his feet well, and he can force scrambles. Like I said, the scramble he forced ended up getting him the win over Gilbert Burns. Of course, that scramble succeeded because, like I said, Burns was tired. Belal's probably not going to be tired ever at a point of this fight, to a point where he could force a scramble to finish him. But he can still force scrambles against Belal. I don't see that out of the ordinary. And I said he gets back to his feet well. So Belal, could take people down, but I think JDM does a really good job getting back to his feet. Getting back to the fence and just working off working his weapons. So he's not an NPC as far as grappling is concerned. He even has a submission victory in his career against Randy Brown when he rocked him first and submitted him. But I just feel overall, JDM's best grappling attribute is probably just his ability to get up to feet, because everything else is kind of going to be mid, and I'm going to talk about it right now for his cons. His cons are he's not necessarily hard to take down. He struggles against single legs primarily, and single legs are the easiest to defend, chat. The thing about single legs, chat, it gives you essentially a chance to force scrambles because you're hopping on your leg. You can usually force scrambles, roll out of it. You can get to the fence and just turn them around. There's just a lot of ways to defend single legs, but every single time, the Gilbert Burns fight specifically, every time Burns would grab a single leg from JDM, he would kind of fall over himself. All Gilbert Burns had to do was lean forward, kind of like how Murad was taking down Umar, grabbing the leg, leaning forward, and then JDM will fall, and then someone like Belal is going to do a really good job controlling you off that, and those are single legs. Now, single legs are the easiest to defend in contrast to double legs, because double legs, if you get your hands locked under someone's butt for a double leg and you're physically strong, you're going to be able to lift that guy and send them flying. And I'm going to talk about Belal's pros in a little bit so you guys understand why this is such a negative for JDM, but Belal has great double legs. So the fact that he's struggling against single legs, which is the hardest to complete, I can see Belal, if Belal's shooting single legs, he'll take him down from it. And if he's shooting double legs, just RIP JDM. He can defend takedowns. I'm not saying he's an NPC, but I'm just saying he's not necessarily hard to take down. He's just not, especially if the guy has a significant grappling advantage like I think Belal does over him. It's going to be problematic. So now let's talk about Belal's pros now that you know JDM's grappling cons. The pros of Belal is he has an impressive double leg I was just talking about, and he's physically strong. Like I said with double legs, the hardest part about double legs are getting your hands locked, like under their butt. That's the hardest part because, sometimes you shoot double legs, but someone's already defending it, so you just have a hard time getting your hands locked. But once Belal gets his hands locked, he does such a good job lifting the opposition off their feet, off of pure strength. If you watch the Leon Edwards fight, chat, the only reason he was like destroying Leon is because once he had his hands locked, it doesn't matter how good of a defensive wrestler Leon is, he's going to go for a ride. So he lifted him off his feet, slammed him, And I also said he's a solid chain wrestler and he's good at grip changes. So when I say grip changes, sometimes Belal, if you're defending the double leg well, like if you get the hands clasped from under your butt and you pull it up to like around your waist, it's harder to complete a double leg that way. So what Belal does really good when he has the hands around the waist, he looks down and he sees if he can switch grip to a high crotch. So what he does, you can see in the Leon fight how he spiked Leon on his head. He had his hands locked. He let go of the lock, goes under and grabs a high crotch, lifts Leon up, slams him on his head. He's so good at grip changing, and when he grip changes, it just doesn't matter how good of a defender you are, you're going to go for a ride. DC did a great job about this in his prime, and Belal has picked it up as well, and Belal's really good at it. So even if JDM is like defending the double leg and getting it over his waist, he's got to be aware of the grip change ability of Belal because he's really good there, and if Belal gets a grip change to a high crotch, don't care how strong you, like how good you are, how strong you are, you're going for a ride. And then I also said annoying ground and pound. When I say this, I mean like he doesn't necessarily hit you the hardest, but he's always going to just be peppering at you. And it's just frustrating to be on the bottom of Belal when he's constantly just peppering at you and just annoying you with these stupid, little pit-pat punches. It's just frustrating. So yeah, the grappling pros in like JDM's grappling cons is very concerning because when every pro is kind of like aligning against the cons, it makes it very tough for the other person to win. So, even in the striking, how Belal is going to just destroy him in the pressure. And then when it comes to grappling, it's a whole different story. It's a long day for Jack Della Maddalena, and you know it as much as I do. It doesn't matter how you feel about Belal, how you feel about JDM, brother. Brother, be careful. Real bad, man. But we can address his cons. Lacks finishing ability. So yeah, he gets you down, he does all this, but he lacks finish ability. But if he could finish anyone, I really believe JDM is gonna be the guy he could finish just from maybe a TKO if he gets a full mount, or just I'll get into that a little bit later. But the point being said is he lacks finishing ability, but you can lack finishing ability and it could be looked at as a con, but it's also torture for their opponent who's gonna get probably 50-44, 50-43, you know, so it's gonna be a long night for JDM. But let's talk about how they match up like together now. This is what I want you guys to know. Belal will pressure him badly. It's going to be like he's going to be pressuring him. People are going to be like kind of confused on why JDM, oh, this is probably the worst JDM's looked. Why is he getting pressured so much? But it's that JDM hasn't really been in the ring with someone who's going to pressure him for 24/7. Gilbert Burns was just beating him off of just sneaking in takedowns and landing some ground and pound shots in the first 2 rounds. Burns wasn't pressuring him. He wasn't doing anything absurd of that nature. Belal will be pressuring from start to finish, and he's not going to get tired, which the gas thing's also going to be a big plus for Belal, who's not going to get tired, and JDM going to be in a 5-round fight against someone like Belal's gas thing for the first time. It's just not, brother, like this fight, dude, fuck, you know. And then I just said JDM lacking the ability to counterpunch on the back foot is going to hurt him this fight, because he might like be just getting backed up and like being panicky and just throw a stupid clobbing hook miss from Belal's head movement and then start getting peppered more. He needs to learn how to counter off the back foot, and he needs to learn in this fight, because if he hasn't been doing the appropriate work in the training camp, it's just going to end up being him just getting beat up. And it's very hard to learn something like that in a training camp. Like counterpunching, a counterpunching style, like you kind of already have it like in your origins, and you kind of build on it. You're not going to build on it in one camp. And the fact that JDM's best weapons is kind of like him coming forward and landing his output, it's going to be such a weird fight for him when he's not going to be the one dictating the pace for the first time, and he's going to be the nail when he's so used to being the hammer on the front foot. You know, 17 fights of never losing and never going against a pressure fighter like Belal is going to hit like a Mack truck deluxe, and especially in a 25-minute fight. It's just a really hard time for JDM. And I said JDM's puncher's chance is slim to none, being that he's not great off the back foot counter. And that's going to be pretty much his only chance to catch Belal off a back foot counter. You know, I doubt there's going to be a time where Belal's fatiguing and getting walked down. I really just think his only chance is going to stem from that counter-punching ability off the back foot. And I just don't see that counter-punching ability at all, which is why I could say, like, for certainty, I don't think this guy has a single chance of winning. Now, of course, people are going to be in the comments like, you're being mean, dude. Everyone has at least one chance, dude. Everyone has puncher's chance. Okay, there you go. I say his puncher's chance is slim to none. So he has it. It's just not there. So if you're picking JDM and you clicked on this video like, Kenny, I think JDM's going to win because puncher's chance, just understand that the puncher's chance you're hoping for is the same chance that you're going to get a girlfriend today and you're single right now. So that's my point. Like, you could go for it, brother. I don't mind, brother. Do you, brother. I'm not trying to tell you not to pick, you know, but be careful, brother. Be careful what you do. So I just want to let people know that. So if you're going to pick JDM still after this video, I don't care. I kind of hope you do, just so I can make more money on Belal for if the odds switch. But yeah, just Belal's going to out-wrestle him uncomfortably. He's going to play with him, and he may even finish him. So my overall result and official pick will be Belal by points or TKO. I could see the TKO coming from late rounds, like him, JDM in the first time in the 4th, 5th round, just getting like kind of mollywopped, kind of getting drug into deep water. He's never been there before, kind of shelling up while Belal's ground and pounding him. Ref's like, fight back. He doesn't fight back. Belal gets a finish, starts flexing, you know, hits a Dougie maybe, you know, saying free Palestine, or Rio bad man, you know, remember the name. That's how I see it going. And I'm not trying to like take this video to bash JDM. I don't mind JDM as a fighter. I think he's an impressive fighter. He got the title shot, you know, from those situations because Shaf got pulled out. So listen, brother, you know, I respect you, brother. No disrespect, you know. Be careful though. You're in the world. You're in a different world. You know. I think he's gonna smash you. I think he's gonna change his face. Maybe change his nose a little bit. You know. We'll see how the fight goes. But just letting you guys know, like JDM has no fighting chance. I want you to look me in the eyes when I'm speaking to you, and you believe every single word I'm saying. JDM doesn't have a fighting chance in this fight. He doesn't have a chance to beat Belal Muhammad. You might think, or you might try to gaslight or convince yourself that Jack Della Maddalena can beat Belal Muhammad, but deep down you know just as much as I do that JDM does not have a fighting chance. And the only reason you are picking JDM is because 1, you don't like Belal, or 2, you believe in the hype of JDM, or 3, you just want to be different and want to pick JDM so in case he can get a fluke, you can be like, I call that so much. You know he's not going to win. And I love that I'm going to be called the bad guy. Oh, I hate you, Kenny. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying it because you like Belal or you hate JDM. You could think whatever reason, but when the fight happens and everything I said comes into fruition, you're going to look back in this video and be like, okay, well, I knew that anyway. That wasn't a hard pick. You're going to switch the tune. I remember the Ankle Live Pereira fight. You guys don't think everyone was saying I was a casual beforehand? Then after I called it, that's an easy crazy call. Why are you even celebrating? It's okay. I know the same thing's going to happen here. Like, and honestly, before the fight even happens, I can acknowledge this is not even a hard fight to call. All these creators who are going against, Belal just have their own personal reasons for that. Like, whether they like JDM, whether they're from Australia or New Zealand, or they just hate Belal. That's the only reason they're picking them. So after they lose and get their pick wrong, I guarantee they're just going to switch their tune in their recap video talking about, well, I kind of saw this coming. But Belal's going to win. I'm not worried in the slightest. You shouldn't be either. Put the house on Belal and dial it, brother. We're making money. Free Palestine. That's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.